All right, welcome back to the channel. Deontay Wilder, the world's former WBC champion, has proved once again that he is the champion. Let's talk about how he did that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So Deontay Wilder, former heavyweight champion of the world, has said some things recently, done some things recently that really do reinstate him, or not reinstate him, but further let me know, or further proof to the true character, the true nature of this guy, and the fact that he is our champion and definitely should have been treated that way during the entire time of his career when other people were sitting back and doing what they were told to do. Deontay Wilder was his own man, and those actions come to light more and more during the times that we're going through right now. Before I get into it, and I want to tell you how, and I want to tell you why in this video, but before I do, I want to say special thank you to everybody over the last few weeks that have donated to the Super Chats and the Cash Apps. I told you that we were raising money to start an initiative, and we have been able to start that initiative. And we'll be talking about that in OG Boxing Talk this Sunday to let you guys know where that is. So thank you guys very much. And thank you to everybody that subscribes, everybody that supports as a channel member, everybody that's over on the Patreon. So look, in the world that we live in sports, in business, and in many different areas, politics, there are things that are difficult to do that people don't want you to do. And there are the things that are difficult to do that people want you to do. One of those things, especially in the world of boxing, is to be an individual that stands up and tells people what they believe is going on in the world, what is going on in the boxing world, and specifically around the issue of that we're talking about in society a lot. Now, this is YouTube, on the Patreon, I get a little bit more explicit, but, suffice it to say that I'm mentioning George Floyd. I'm mentioning all of the protests, the things that are going on out there, all over the world, right? That there are times when in sports where there's always people that are athletes that are talking about those things, trying to use their platform, their voice to draw attention to issues that otherwise would be swept under the rug. And that as of, prior to about 3 weeks ago was the normal in boxing. You would have issues where boxers would get blackballed, like Guillermo Rigondeaux. You wouldn't hear a thing. Inside the world of boxing, you would see things outside the world of boxing, like Trayvon Martin, or all of the different names of the young black men that in the United States that have expired. I don't mean aspired as in to be better. I mean expired as in went away because of things that many people know on a regular day, know intuitively. Intuitively, they know it and they've observed it themselves, but yet in order to protect their careers and make sure that they're not the Guillermo Rigondeaux, right? Now, Guillermo Rigondeaux got blackballed because Guillermo Rigondeaux was too good a fighter in a style that was not appeasing to the boxing, to Bob Arum and to HBO. So that was the reason for him getting blackballed. But people in other sports like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, formerly known as Chris Jackson of the Denver Nuggets. If you guys don't remember, he was blackballed because he had certain beliefs, and when the national anthem came up, he prayed during the national anthem, and so he was out of the league. Colin Kaepernick, don't even need to go through. He's out of the league, right? So. And some people acting as if he's out of the league and they don't understand why. Well, it's because he really can't, he's too old. He can't handle it anymore, whatever. He's not willing to be a backup. Whatever the stories were around that, there were people that black people that did nothing, said nothing, actually would make arguments against it. You have your Jason Whitlocks, but as a sports person, Colin Kaepernick had to choose which route he was going to do and what the situation was going to be for him, and he made his choice. In the world of boxing, we had Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was without a doubt, as the heavyweight champion, longest reigning heavyweight champion of the world, the most outspoken, the most vocal about issues related to the oppression of his people. And he calls them his people unabashedly. So that's the world we were living in, where Deontay Wilder was and he was ridiculed. And by the way, he was ridiculed for it. He was made. Now he took advantage of the ridicule as a result from the word that he used till this day. When Radio Raheem asked him, who are you talking? You say these people oppressed. Who are you talking about? You know who I'm talking about with your people. You know what I mean? That thing. And you could look at his face. You could look at his irritation. And this is in the middle of preparing for a fight, a major fight that's worth more money than he'd ever earned. But he's still on the moment, was asked about it. He gave his answer, and he not only gave an answer, he didn't do it passively. He did it aggressively. He did it loud. And you know that is something that's sitting on his head, right? And he was ridiculed for it. He's been called a racist. And blackballing isn't even, Deontay Wilder got blackballed for the things that he said and the things that he did in an entirely different way. He was actually performing well, doing the things that he was supposed to do, that in the situation with anybody else, he would be praised. But the media narrative on him, they would just act as if it didn't exist. They would act as if a million people that would watch him fight, that's a failure, right? You've been there. Deontay Wilder never received his just due, and I think in large part that is because he was unashamed about who he was. And if you think about the way that it works, he is someone that breaks the cardinal rule for black men, in my opinion, and that is you do not have the right to be self-assured. Being self-assured, being comfortable, and not having an inferiority complex is one of the greater offenses that you can make as a black man in America. And Deontay Wilder made that mistake and connected it to the suffering of other people on a daily basis. But as a result of that, he was made a joke of. They laugh at how he speaks, having a Southern accent, calling him a hillbilly, doing all these things, right? To try to tear this guy down. But he rose up and got to the point where he made the money he did against Tyson Fury. And then all of a sudden, but that's where we were, right? He was doing what he thought was right and what the boxing community was embarrassed about. And that's the truth. That's how I viewed it. They were not only you had the many, not all, many non-black people, right, who despised him. And then you had other black people that were embarrassed by him. Hey, I wish he just wouldn't say it like that. Why you got to be so loud about it, right? Anyway, now something happens that is absolutely monstrous and gets a lot of attention. You have the case of George Floyd, which happens to be not too far, in the middle of a massive quarantine of dang near the whole world, where there's not a lot to focus on other than that. And now it is all of a sudden like somebody flipped the page. Oh, we changed our mind on that. It is now fashionable to be what Deontay Wilder had been criticized for years. It is now fashionable. So Deontay Wilder was asked, I received many questions. Where's Deontay Wilder? Where's Deontay Wilder? Where's Deontay Wilder? Why isn't Deontay Wilder saying this? Why hasn't he said anything about George Floyd? Right? Because now, of course, for the people that want to criticize Deontay Wilder, it's why haven't you spoken about this? Well, Deontay Wilder comes out and he in classic Deontay Wilder form, similar to the absolutely beautiful ring entrance that he had for the Tyson Fury fight. Along with that, he's now come out and he does what I was closest to say is like a spoken word presentation in the middle of the woods of Alabama. Now, if you are not familiar with Alabama is in the deep South. Okay, as far as hard time for black people, it don't get any harder than the great state of Alabama, with the maybe exception of the state of Mississippi. He is from the deepest of the deepest South. In those woods where there had to have been many a slave trying to run through, more than likely, many a slave swung like strange fruit off those trees. Shout out to Billie Holiday. And since Billie Holiday ain't been around in so long, you know how long the problem's been. But so he gives that speech and he proves, right? Now I'm going to do another video again today about Anthony Joshua, but he proved that he was a champion, and not the champion of the WBC, but the champion of people, because to represent, to work for the better interest of, right? Because that's what you do when you champion a cause. He championed the cause of his people. He did it when he was holding the WBC championship. And I would ask you, which championship is more important? The championship that Deontay Wilder, the championing of the causes that Deontay Wilder does, or the holding of a green belt, like the WBC's green belt, which they hand around like hotcakes to people. So in my opinion, and I'm not going to show his video. You can go find his video. There's a bunch of people that took it and put it up on YouTube. But understand that Deontay Wilder has been a champion, and he was championing this cause before it was fashionable, during a period of time where everybody was telling you it wasn't I can't breathe. It was just shut up. Just shut up and stop embarrassing yourself, right? Stop sounding like that country boy. Stop talking about black people. To now you have major corporations battling to try to get into the position that Deontay Wilder was in for his entire life. So and he didn't have to do anything extra. That's what other people have to do, extra things, right? Ben and Jerry has to do something extra, right? You guys have to do something extra to let people know that that's where you are. Oh, I'm with you. Deontay Wilder doesn't have to do that because people know that he's been championing them the whole time. Anyway, that's my thought. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.